Alright, what is up? I'm hitting in the old games corner. Classic game roulette. Yeah. Let's not forget, this is still an old game. Forget why I was calling it Modern Game Madness. Anyway, it's Iron Handy in the old games corner here. And it's time to start the final trial here of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Yeah, I did say I was gonna start it. Considering it an incredibly late start that I went with here, and I'm sorry for that. I had one heck of a nap from earlier, and well, I was already tired from the party earlier. Anyway, what with it being 4th of July and all. So let's go now. Good morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, pros. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry, we don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So, is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the training hall? No. She's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit it's kinda strange. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Edgeworth. What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecution is squeezing her for a confession. Or so I've heard. Francisca von Caldwell, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Who else would it be but Godo? Godo. Francisca is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks, with the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godo intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I found myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you passed your code on to someone else, literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. Thanks. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. Okay. The circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise Donham, no, I mean Miss Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Your Honor, what are you... Who, me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale. Not to mention said that he couldn't be here. It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godo. I understood exactly what you said. At least until in the end anyway. Now then, Mr. Godo, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There's only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So you mean, forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura has Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Iris, why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training in Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something that you want to confess to? Yes, but first I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Donham? No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless cell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple in courtyard where I desecrated it. What? Order in the court! Order! Witness, are you saying that you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. What? Three minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it's the murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Troy? Let's go. So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris was covering for someone. I'm not entirely sure, Red, but yay, good to see you. I'm confused as to why I'm doing this now, but I feel I have to because I'm so close to finishing this whole thing. So might as well do it now. Now I'm definitely up in the creek without a paddle or a life jacket. But yeah, I hope you've had a great 4th of July today. That's what I felt when I jumped into the pool today. I've been in Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. I'm sorry, but main family? Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself if I need be to protect her, the daughter of the master of the Korean channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite. She's naming Maya! Order in the court. So not only did you witness the murder, you knew the name of the murderer. I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. That's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a... The defense will refrain with commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction. Yeah. Although, I should also comment on this one thing. Doesn't Iris look familiar? And there's a reason for that. She is the twin sister of Dahlia Hawthorne. I went to the inner temple that night, and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. Yeah. Although only one of them is yeah, we'll get into that soon. You'd say it, Red. Dahlia is bad. You tell him. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. So it was in self-defense. Here's the thing. We're gonna prove him wrong. Yes, it was Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Is that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. Oh, you don't say. Never fully understood why things happened as they were. But you know, it's critical thinking. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Well, better take a drink real quick because we're gonna be in it for the long haul. Better to stay hydrated than to not make it through the first thing. So, I have to go to the third one. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into a robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. A dagger, huh? And Elise Stoneham tried to stab her with this weapon. To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. Ooh, boy. I don't like this. Hey, there's a bot here. You guys can't see it, but I can. I gotta dispose of it. Yes, exactly. Huh. You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? Yeah. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony. You do? But this witness is your own client. Yes, well, nevertheless, it's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. Yes, sir. Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say it. Well, it's just a figure of speech. Godo has a weird way of saying things. Listen, Gramps, I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay, now, let's continue. This is his third time he did this. Probably more if you count the times he did that. Anyway. So, she threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe, but yeah. Sounds mighty suspicious. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Durham throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with a staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Dunham really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she would have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she had already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say? Yeah, I finally took the time to add a special little feature to the streams. All I had to do was click it in a browser, like I did with the sound alerts. That's all I had to do. That was an impressive bit of investigating, Troy. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy, and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade. Well, anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony. But there is something strange about this whole testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument. Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise Donham would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. The profile itself and her true identity. Okay, so yeah. Elise Donham would have never have attacked Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Donham. Her real name was Misty Fey. Fey? No! Not Mystic Misty Fey. Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to... Misty Fey is the master of the Korean channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey. Morgan? Yeah. Who is the true evil bitch. Are you serious? Is it really true, Mr. Light? Was Elise Donham actually the great mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing. Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, one, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Mia's dead. Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing. Yes, what is this little impossible thing? You still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of coffee. You're going to ruin your health, my good friend. After hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime, and he discovered this little beauty. Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. Uh-oh. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the back side of the pine tree. When the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women, this little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee. And you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will now accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. Now then, the testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I'm looking around for a remote. I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. There we go. They are. They were. They were sisters. Cute girls never lie. Ever. In any case, witness, will you please, if you could please testify again to this court. About what, Your Honor? About the incident you saw. The battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly about after being hit over the head with the staff, but then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. That seems reasonable. Now, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Oh yeah, the two of them were sisters, and that would mean they were daughters to a Misty Fae. That's what I meant to say. Anyway. We're going to number 4. Are you sure about that? Presenting the autopsy report. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Faye stabbed the victim when she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears that another seed of doubt has been sprouted from your testimony. Oh, dude. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? It's simple. People are like books. We've all gone to front and back. You get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please not get off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff, the people fighting between mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee, but to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. What are you really concentrating on? What this witness actually said? Prosecutor Goto, explain yourself. The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit? I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor, but according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the trading hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. Yes, an illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the stab was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. They can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trey? No! Order! Here, Your Honor. Let me present this stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern, there's something written on it. Oh dear. Why, it's written in blood. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood. It says Maya upside down. What the? Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body. It certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Could it be? You can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, it did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godo, anything further? Mr. Godo? Okay then. Let's move on. Godo is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. I believe it has now been established that Miss Donham was killed by Maya Fey. That's just wrong. Now it's time to turn our attention to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future of Master of the Korean tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge, and then I used the snowmobile to carry back to Hazakura Temple and... I used the Shizuto to alter the way the wound looked. So you moved the body? Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fate Clan, but even so, I never imagined that Elise Donham was actually Misty Faye. I've committed a terrible sin. A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But you were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. This is all sounding a bit too suspicious. We need more information, so we're going to impress the second statement. I mean, not the second statement, the fifth statement. Number 5. The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later. Yes, I have the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? I want to know about the tracks. If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, naturally, yes, naturally, you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hasakura Temple. I see. Snow was still falling, huh? And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are still fresh-looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? I'd say it's very important. When the murder took place and the snow had already stopped, that doesn't make any sense when you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony, but does it have something to do with the case? All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. This should be fun. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. Okay, so what's it all mean? That I have to go back to the fourth testimony? Yeah, this is sounding really suspicious. I hope this is right. I will present the weather data here! You claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed the Dusky Bridge at that time. Why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be. It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No! Oh, wow. Things are getting interesting. Order! The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut out from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, that the body of Elise Donham was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. And second, the head nun's sister Bikini witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Donham's body. He makes a good point on both accounts. That's right, I'm not lying. What are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy. You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It is only human to err. If you're so imperfect, right, maybe you could explain this for the court? What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick. Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across that burnout bridge, but unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. You see what I mean? In other words, you're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Alright then, let's witness. Let's hear your testimony once more. Oh boy. About what, Your Honor? You've admitted that you've moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Would this be her final testimony? Probably. Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge? So it was just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspicion wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth, and Maya will be accused of murder. Right. I'm only going to say it one more time. It's only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Yeah. Try wrap your head around that. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. Okay, what exactly do I have there? Somehow, there is a way. Trust me. As unbelievable as it sounds, only a miracle can end this whole thing. I present a dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's being pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go! Miss Elise Stonum's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Loris Stonum. Brilliant, highly gifted apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. That night, he was at the Mountain Shack in Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. When you've all seen, I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument. Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Well, Troy, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old. Does this sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn the case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? That is an interesting clue then. So, keep that in mind. What if... Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Laurie Stoneham is a complete contradiction. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Laurie Stoneham stated it over and over, that this sketch was exactly as he saw it. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? Huh. This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger pointing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? It's this, isn't it? It's all this. It's this wire connected to the bridge. The wire? Huh. Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Then show us the reality it supposedly contradicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality. Yup. I'm going to the bridge photo to assume that this is what I believe it is. And yep. That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jump into hose vat. The wires are below the guard wires. What? Order! 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 This sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong? Or perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Maurice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Maurice was doing when he witnessed that event. This event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Maurice must have been at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back? I can't see how it relates, but it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. No way. Maurice Stoneham witnessed the event while he was lying on his back face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view in Maurice Stoneham's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right. Just like a pendulum. Ridiculous. Order, order, order. What are the things to say? A pendulum? The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it, but if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. He used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side, and the pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that night can have only be an accident. So it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. Wait! I'm saying it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum?
Okay.
And the meaning of this is, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious spirit. Ugh! This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. And the criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied in the wire around Elise Donham's body. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Huh. Mr. Godel. It seems that Mr. Godel is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high, so I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. Possible or impossible, that's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did it really happen? Troy, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung like a pendulum?
Okay. So,
we're going back to the autopsy report, yeah? Right here. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal, yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would have dropped on the opposite bank and approximately this point. Did you say drop? They must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet from her death. 10 feet, 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then as a result of the landing impact, this crystal spear was knocked loose. Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise Donham's staff. And then even more important is the place where this crystal spear was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found... Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would have arrived if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright! I thought this cold coffee might help you cool down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Koto? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh, and what would that be? The aroma. Huh? A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak coffee-nese. Can you elaborate a bit more? If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? Mr. Godo is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. And that accomplice's name? The defendant. I'm just gonna say it right then and there. Very well. If you please, Mr. Wright, who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple sided with the defendant? Iris. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body is from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it. Trite, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godo? This witness was also seen in Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnout bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness is an Iris of Hazakura Temple? Are you a serious, Trite? You mean this woman is... There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is Oh no! It can't be, can it? Dun dun dun! I never thought I would have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh no! Hawthorne. Sister Iris had a twin sister. Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Huh, it's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says that her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order! Wait a minute, wait a moment. How can you... My sister, she's already dead. What kind of... You of all people should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the crane channeling technique flows within that body. The crane channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. If you're going to put things that way, then yes. We're supposed to believe a coincidence just like that? Like that just happens? Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was a part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. What's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Thay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled at night. There were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them. Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And the Iris who gave me in this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris sister Bikini saw in the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, do you even know what you're saying, Trey? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? I don't know. Sounds like a mix-up. Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. 'It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura's temple's main hall. They found Iris in a room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that.
Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off! I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous? Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia. Oh no. Hold on here. Somehow switched places? To be... Oh no. Where's that plug? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places? With Dahlia Hawthorne, there was one. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh? Explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What do you mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move freely about like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to move freely about was Miles Edgeworth. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple! This kind of tremor might... How could I have... She fled! She escaped! We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here, no judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling. Be quiet.
It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice. I guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for a name and profession. That's one of my rules.
Dahlia Hawthorne, and my current profession, permanently retired.
So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again, and I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it, for her and for myself. Whew. Things are looking up, in more ways than one. It ain't over until it's over. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness?
Yes? How can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. Well, tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay?
Yes. You have a problem with that?
Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trite. If you got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Goto is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya? Could it be true? Ooh. Deal within the she-bitch right once and for all. Oh, man. Number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, and 5. You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped, Maya Fay is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fay.
That's absurd. Maya is just... She's just trapped. Trapped inside the sacred cavern.
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people.
I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. and I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. I am gonna press all of them. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss this plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year. She was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Are you crazy? At first that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of Korean? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris? That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes. My father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman, that bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her, Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, and thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearl would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master, that's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fay as well. How could anyone do that? You were going to kill Maya. Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on sister Iris of Hazakura Temple.
she and I would look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was the head nun Sister Bikini.
I would have never guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway,
I just wanted to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fay's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, then why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead?
Do you understand now why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was?
It can't be. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I have the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You wanted to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey.
I somehow knew this was it.
I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up.
And the reason it was impossible was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died?
Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take a revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans.
Just for that? And for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fay. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't you waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. At night, and about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left the Hazakura temple. So it was at least Donum who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun would never notice the thing. She left Maya Thay at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took the dagger I got from the storeroom and...
So then you're saying you stabbed Maya?
It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed?
At the last minute, Maya Thay must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all. Maya wants to stab a French fry with a plastic fork.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness, but before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I rolled Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her.
I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end.
That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops.
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Thay with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern, surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there.
But how did you wind up in there?
I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Thay was dead, and I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For a ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying that you were actually confined against your will inside this sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept it getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who? Could it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the secret cavern.
That morning, only two people could have gone into the training hall, Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging skull in gravy.
Still, I've managed to remove the lock, but I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, right? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I couldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped, but just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself.
The real Iris?
She said she'd come to make sure the secret cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the secret cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan has succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written into the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was Misty Fay, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Thay, I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all, but even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit, and it is matricide, the sin of killing her own mother.
No way! Order in the court. What is the meaning of all this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Thay, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Ridiculous! That's nonsense!
Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Thay has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
And the idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place it could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else?
Eagle River.
Maya Thay killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So what do you have to say now, Feeny?
Oh,
Oops.
Sorry. That's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that?
Godo here.
Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the secret cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fay? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh?
Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that.
So what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the secret cavern. No, it can't be.
I I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No!
It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Lee Stoneham, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped into her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River. He can't be. Trite, have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, no matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Goto? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge.
That's right. That's where she jumped from.
But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. Wait, don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible. Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River. Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
Okay. Presenting.
The map again. Or rather, this map. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness.
What did you say?
11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh, you're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. So you finally figured it out.
No!
Order!
You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's no one else she could possibly be hiding.
Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Yes, just a few minutes ago.
Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place it could be. What? What is this other possibility you were talking about?
It's obviously a bluff. So where is her dead body then?
Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead, but I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Trapped inside the very person she was trying to kill. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya Fey is in this very courtroom. There is only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is... You say she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Why, then, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt.
You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it.
I've never failed at channeling something. This is the first time it's happened.
Is there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did, but who?
Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct?
It wasn't Pearl that channeled you.
It was someone who called you before she could. This is an easy one. Pearl couldn't do it, and Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey.
What?
But how can that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal? She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right. But if Maya Fey channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you.
To protect herself from me?
Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became where would be the safest place to hide.
You mean that's when she channeled me?
All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you.
No, don't say that! You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious?
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape only open to Maya.
The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Mia Thay. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. You're something else. But what are you doing here? That hair. It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple's garden, and then in the final moments of the fight you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Thay. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did. Not terribly surprising, since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear. And that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time. So I wrote 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fay. Pearls? Yes. Pearl didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan Fay's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fay to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you! I won't forget this! Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes. Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Dahlia Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault! It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman! And then 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else.
As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face! And now this! You messed up again! You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you! Maya Fey! Maya Fey! Maya Fey! Maya Fey! You spinster! I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or someone in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you will have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you lose or win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come with Maya's body right now. Oh, I'm not ready to go. Oh dear. Nick, sis. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godo, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. You see, Dahlia Hawthorne was definitely a bitch. A she-bitch. Case closed. There's nothing else to discuss on that. Let it be written since in the annals of time. You can prove me wrong all you want. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. I should also note that Dahlia Hawthorne was, how you say it, a femme fatale, the kind of person who would do anything to achieve her goals through assassination and whatnot, like poisoning. Yeah, it should have been written in stone since the beginning. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor, yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made it concerted effort to study up on the Korean channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of All Cult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and all in that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Yeah, dude, it's not over. It's not over until the fat lady sings. You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Goldo? This trial isn't over yet. That's what it means. What? Trite, remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Donham, no, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over. Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk in until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place. The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls my fate to the witness stand. Very well. But first we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. It's right. I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve! But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess.
I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk.
She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places and Iris was inside the sacred cavern.
I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on.
Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There was something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister as much as you did?
Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday,
you would have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister, I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from her father either.
Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hansakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong, she never complained about the thing. It's why I promised her that I would help her.
Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes. I wanted to be useful in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up.
That was the case that wounded me so badly. The day that the defendant in that case had passed away.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, two defense attorneys, Miafe and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison from her. You.
That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes? What is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Donham, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone.
There's a problem. Come to Inner Temple right away.
I got on the snowmobile and headed for the Inner Temple, but the path to the Inner Temple was
Cut off, right?
exactly.
We can't just leave the body here. So you got to do this exactly as I say. Got it?
It was me. I was the one that received her body.
The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't have to bleed too much.
The staff that Miss Pickley's always held.
I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was a staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile.
But why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the shizuto. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. Yeah, it's not gonna be that easy, you know. Defendant.
Yes?
The judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer, maybe even from the very beginning.
Phoenix.
Mia, how is Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely, but emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Donham really was?
Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew.
But why?
Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it.
What do you mean by that?
I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart.
The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her. But still, I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning.
And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple inside by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the Inner Temple side for almost an entire day.
Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day.
That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose.
Okay, you've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway, and who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. It's almost over. Very well.
I believe tomorrow would be the final. The finale, yeah, the grand finale, the stream to end it all. One last time. I just need me a channel to raid here. Luckily, there are people I can still raid at this time. And that's just what I'm gonna do. To raid Lily, who is currently playing the Last Remnant. And as for me, stay tuned tomorrow, I don't know when I finish Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. It's going to be a thrilling conclusion that it will. So, see you, compadres.